Local taxpayer groups have joined forces for a unified campaign against tax hikes that are on the November ballot. Joining us this morning to discuss his stance on the potential tax increases, Carl DeMaio, who serves as chairman of Reform California. Carl, good morning.
Good morning.
We want to get to this topic, absolutely, but I want to talk to you about something top of mind for a lot of people right now. I want to get your take on AB 5, which was, of course, authored by Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez.
Well, as we're trying to fight tax increases to help people afford to live in California, we also have to help them get jobs. And that's why AB 5 is such a destructive law authored by local Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez. It will kill over 1 million jobs in California. That's according to the latest assessment, because a lot of folks are getting side jobs. It's the gig economy, whether it's driving for Uber and Lyft or other app-based delivery services, or it's just taking on a client on the side. People rely on independent contractor income to make ends meet. And more importantly, small businesses in California need independent contractors because they can't afford and don't need a full-time employee in some of these roles. And so Lorena Gonzalez and the California Democrats have declared war on the little guy, and 1 million jobs are on the line now, and we have to find ways to repeal AB 5 as much as we can in fighting this bad law.
Okay, that's your take. Let's shift gears now. Talk about this group of a coalition of taxpayers that you have joined.
Yeah, Reform California has organized a dedicated campaign not only to defeat statewide tax increases, which would be Prop 15 and Prop 19. We're urging a no vote on those two big tax hikes statewide. But there are 13 local measures on the San Diego County ballot that would also increase taxes locally. And so we're joining with San Diego tax fighters, local elected officials, business and civic leaders to urge a no vote on all 13 of those measures. The biggest of these measures that we're concerned about is in the city of San Diego. It's Measure A. This is a 48-year tax hike, a 48-year tax hike that will cost the typical homeowner in San Diego $550 or more in the first 5 years of the 48-year tax hike. It would allow city politicians to borrow $900 million at a cost of $2.5 billion for the taxpayers to repay. Again, a bad deal and a tax hike. So Measure A is the largest tax increase on the local ballot, and we are fighting Measure A along with the other 12 tax hikes that are on other city ballots, such as Imperial Beach, and then around the San Diego region. A number of tax increases we have to defeat.
Okay, so Measure A is the big one for homeowners. Let's talk about some of the 12 others.
Well, for example, in Imperial Beach, Measure I claims to be an emergency response initiative. It has nothing to do with emergency response. Imperial Beach is financially mismanaged, and so they're asking for a tax hike, a general purpose tax hike, and the politicians can spend the money any way they want. It's window dressing to refer to things like emergency services. See, these politicians are so deceptive and misleading. They know that by putting emergency services on the title of the measure that people like emergency services. Everyone wants a 911 call to be responded to as quickly as possible. But the facts are that the money actually doesn't go to that. Here's another one. In the city of Lemon Grove, I got to check the number on it because Lemon Grove Measure J. Measure J would also increase taxes, and they say it would go to improve roads and go to police and fire. Lemon Grove is on the brink of bankruptcy because of bad financial decisions. And so you're not going to see that money go to improve services. It's, again, a general purpose tax. Politicians can spend it any way they want. So we've put all the items on our website. You can go to reformcalifornia.org to see each of the measures so that you know which items on your local ballot are tax hikes. And for Measure A, we're asking people to put a lawn sign in their yard, a free lawn sign we will deliver to you. You can get that at cleanupcityhall.com. It's a great website, cleanupcityhall.com. That's where you can request a free lawn sign to display in your yard to alert your neighbors that their taxes will go up if this measure passes.
Well, you know, we're all taxpayers, and I got to think I think I speak for the viewers at home right now who are saying, how much more can they tax us? I mean, the states are.
In the middle of a pandemic, no less, Jason.
Right.
People are unemployed, they're underemployed, their businesses are on the brink of bankruptcy, and yet local and state politicians in California feel that it's appropriate to add to their burdens with higher taxes. How about we get the politicians to actually tighten the belt? I know that that's unheard of in government, but it needs to happen because working families in California are already suffering because of the lousy and mismanaged way politicians have dealt with COVID-19 and the across-the-board lockdowns that Christian Gaspar was just talking about, rightfully so. And now on top of that, on top of taking away our economic opportunities, now they're coming along and saying now you have to pay more with higher taxes. No. We're going to reject the tax increases this election, and I think that'll send a strong message that Californians have had enough. I'm hearing from Democrats, Jason, independents, in addition to Republicans, that say they've had enough. They've had enough of things like AB5 taking away jobs. They've had enough about the regulations and mandates on businesses, and they certainly have had enough with these massive tax increases at a time when working families simply can't afford them.
Okay, one more time, how can our viewers' voices be heard on this issue?
Well, get the lawn sign at cleanupcityhall.com, cleanupcityhall.com. And they can also click under the news section of reformcalifornia.org to get a complete list of the local tax hike measures. But we got to get the word out and we got to get the vote out.
Okay, Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. Carl, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.